Hello, welcome to another Master League video. Today we're going to take a look at round 3 of the Master League, the Prize Master League tournament that I am hosting myself. And today we have vTenacity, one of the best British players on the left, and on the right, one of the best German players, Ripperli. And we see some familiar Pokemon we have seen before, but not facing each other per se. We see the Mega Gyarados from vTenacity on the left. And we see on the right side that Primal Kyogre again, that this time Ripperli has. Now, Gyarados, I think, is one of the best core breakers to Primal Kyogre plus other Pokemon. But Primal Kyogre is usually paired with something like a Florges, which makes a really strong core. So let's take a look at how Ripperli is going to tackle this. We see here the Shadow Dragonite from Ripperli into the Primal Kyogre, and looks like we see a Dragon Tail Garchomp from Ripperli here with 2 Dragon Charge moves, but because it's a Shadow Dragonite, those Dragon Tails do a lot. Like after 3 or 4, it's already at half HP. And then swapping into his Giratina, we see the Mega Gyarados in the back for vTenacity. Let's see if he shields this. Does not shield this. Only an Earth Power, which doesn't do that much. Even an Outrage would not have KO'd, but you definitely could have farmed down. Dragon Claw coming in. This definitely won't KO because I like how it's in German on the right side. But it's not that strong of a move. And it looks like vTenacity doesn't want to get debuffed either by that Sand Tomb. As we look on the left side, we see vTenacity just bring his 3 best against Kyogre, but those 3 are also his 3 worst against the Florges, right? Because Swampert, Excadrill, and Sylveon all do much better there. Getting to that Shadow Sneak here, that's some nice chip, but it doesn't do that much damage. This leaves Florges with quite some energy. Schattenstosh. Let's see what you bring here as vTenacity, because he's really weak to this. But it's Waterfall Mega Gyarados. Okay. That can do something here. And no shooting this Moonblast. Oh my god. Oh, that actually does way less than I thought, actually. And I think this is actually a really dangerous no-shoot, because Primal Kyogre has a lot of fast move pressure. You need a lot of HP to take down Primal Kyogre. And at this point, both Pokemon don't have much HP anymore. I think at this point, both your Pokemon get farmed down. Because look at these resisted waterfalls from Primal Kyogre. They're doing a lot of damage. Yeah, at this point, you kind of have to use shields as vTenacity. I think V10 tried to call a disarming voice on his Mega Gyarados, but it was a whopping Moonblast, and it just does so much damage. No shield from Ripperli here. Probably expecting a crunch or outrage from that Waterfall Mega Gyarados, which is an interesting choice. Because, like, Dragon Breath would have been really good against Kyogre, Dragonite, and Garchomp here. And even the Excadrill. So that's an interesting choice from vTenacity. Perhaps just utilizing his Mega Gyarados as the Florges answer. Not sure how well of an answer that is. I also really like that Shadow Dragonite, but man, it looks so fragile. Take a look at the game number 2 here. Currently the score is 1-0 for Ripperli. We have here that Dragonite into the Garchomp. It looks like V10 is just getting out immediately. Just doing some chip and then going into that Waterfall Kyogre, which also has Blizzard, by the way. Outrage coming in. This would do a solid chunk. I would estimate like 40-50%. But it gets shielded. The Woedanval. It's funny because like in Dutch I can see where it's coming from. It's pretty similar. Throwing just right one before the outrage. You could also throw on CMP as the Kyogre, because Kyogre wins CMP against about everything. There's about 300 attack, even much higher than Mewtwo. And that didn't KO because Mega Gyarados is not weak. See if this doesn't get shielded. I want to see how much this does. Yeah, does a really solid chunk. The one Pokemon to hit pretty well on the Kyogre. And you notice there how vTenacity then doesn't do a waterfall damage on a Kyogre with his Gyarados, because he wants farm on this, and that Kyogre barely doesn't get the serval. It's pretty huge. But this is a pretty bad spot for vTenacity, because now the Dragonite is aligned to the Garchomp. It would have been pretty good against that Garchomp now in comparison to this. But looks like Ripperli can't swap out here either. Yeah, that's kind of tricky now, because again, tries to call a disarming voice. Yeah, now it is a disarming voice. There was a Moonblast before. You kind of have to shoot this. Yeah, and he does. I think the Garchomp also has quite some energy here. Let's take a look. This Sylveon takes very long to get to a move. In fact, vTenacity forgets to throw his move. Checking his message real quick. Yeah, that looks game over, I think, right? You get to... No, this thing just gets to a Disarming Voice here. This really is the strength of Florges because it's a fairy type that's not depending on charm, just depending on quick quick energy generation and getting those charge moves off, right? I really like Florges for that. And even in some of its neutral matchups, such as a Togekiss, it's still pretty good. 2-0 for Ripperli right now. vTenacity running Waterfall Gyarados. Can't really get a grip on that Primal Kyogre here. Game number 3. We see here, again, triple weak to that Florges. vTenacity just doesn't want to bring that extra drill because it's so risky against the Primal Kyogre team. Either way, let's take a look. Aquatil coming in here. Schweif. That's not similar to Dutch at all. See if he shields this move or not. And again, calling this. It still does a big chunk though. Going for another Disarming Voice here. And you can see that actually Gyarados doesn't do really bad here, to be honest. Obviously, he's throwing a Disarming Voice, not a Moonblast. And then going into Primal Kyogre, going into the Shadow Dragonite, which is... let's take a look at how this matchup goes. Yes, he resists those Waterfalls, but I feel like the Waterfalls do just as much as the Dragon Breaths here. So, at least you charge energy faster, so there's that. Is this a fully maxed out Dragonite? It is. I believe that's almost... I'm not sure if that was on those CP. But if not, it's really close to one. Does he even get to another move here? Lets that go. And does get there. I think the superpower would have done a little bit more damage here. This is still a stab. Dragon Claw that will do a nice chunk though. Man, can you even farm this down with Giratina? I'm not sure. This Primal Kyogre, I'm pretty sure gets to a Blizzard here. And instead of that, Ripperli opts to throw the Surf just right away. Interesting. Yeah. Because that Surf would almost knock you out. And now, Florges comes back in. Does it get to a move here? It does now. I think one more Waterfall would have taken out this Florges. Disarming Voice comes through. And then we see the Dragonite from Ripperli in the back there, which is pretty good. As we can see, that is the Hondo CP. I wasn't sure because I knew it ended with a 7 and started with 42. I wasn't sure about the third number. But yeah, Dragonite has a decent matchup here. I wouldn't say the absolute best, but because as you can see, these Dragon Claws take it really low, the Dragonite. But yeah, Ripperli just knows. Doesn't really need to shield here just yet. No shields on vTenacity side, and this is looking like a solid win for Ripperli. A 3-0 win. I honestly feel like this wasn't even Primal Kyogre's match to do. I think Primal Kyogre mostly did the pressuring, but that Florges, man, vTenacity just didn't really bring a Florges answer, which he has only one really on his team. Right? And then the Florges just got so much space. Then waterfalling down as vTenacity turns off the recording earlier. Yeah, so here it shows Primal Kyogre is good, but you need to cover the other Pokemon as well. That was basically what the origin path was. You build your team around Kyogre, which puts a lot of pressure on everything. But yeah, then the other Pokemon also need to be covered, right? Thank you, vTenacity and Ripperli, for submitting the episode. Hope you liked the video. Have a good one.